Do 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 do. Sometimes I like to be pissed off when someone leaves me a really stupid comment. And sometimes the same stupid comment. And it keeps repeating itself. And then I get the comment, and then I get pissed off. And then I go, I'm glad this comment pissed me off because it gives me inspiration to make a video. I used to get ideas like that all the time debating people on metaphysics. They would say really stupid stuff over and over again. And the repeatability and the patterns of it was extremely predictable. And I always had the perfect comeback, which was undeniable. And it's a great way to debate people. Here's a mistake everybody makes. I was actually talking about how a lens rendered recently. And I've gotten these comments, and I know for a fact there's more than a handful of people that actually believe this nonsense. People say, well, who cares about how that lens rendered? Because everybody uses Photoshop these days, and it doesn't matter anymore how that lens renders. Really? You can make a shot look like totally different, and of course you can Photoshop the hell out of it. Let's just talk about Lightroom or Capture One, or actually manipulating sliders. Contrast, brightness, raising the shadows, working with the highlights. All the little things you could do in Lightroom and Capture One without photoshopping the hell out of it, which is not photographic manipulation, but graphic arts, which I'm not against graphic arts. But let's talk about just some of the really important stuff that even Photoshop and no other computer application can alter. The micro contrast and image fidelity cannot be added by Photoshop or any... And micro contrast is a horrible term. What I've said is it properly should be called is image fidelity. It is low gain intertonal details that actually give definition and depth to the shot. It used to be called Zeiss pop, micro contrast, lens pop. It's been going by several different names. What it correctly is denotatively is low gain intertonal detail. It is image fidelity. Okay. Have you ever put in listen to a binaural recording, which is recorded off of two mics? Like someone will go to a symphony or a concert and they'll put on a special headset with two microphones, one on either side of their head. And when you close your eyes and listen to that recording, you just go, oh shit, that's amazing. That's image fidelity. Photoshop and Lightroom and any other editing program cannot add information that was never there to begin with. By definition, image manipulation requires existing information for manipulation. Any and all raw editors can do is twist and tweak existing information. You cannot add shadow detail. If it was never captured to begin with in the raw file, no matter how good the low light high ISO performance, no matter how good the information extraction detail is for shadows, you can't pull out shadow detail that was never captured in that raw file, regardless of the raw editor, some of which are much better than others. Bokeh, the transition, the bokeh rendering, the shape, the type, the character of that bokeh. I almost said caricature for a second. Depth of field transfer rendering. That is a thumbprint of certain lenses. People just look at it. They're not looking at the bokeh. They're looking at how the out of focus areas and the depth of field transition. None of this stuff can be changed with any photo editing. There are countless things that can't be added, removed. Of course, you could drop everything down in the shadows, remove a lot of stuff, but in principle, none of this stuff can be photoshopped or changed in Lightroom, can be added, because it was never there to begin with. It's never there to begin with. Can't do it. You can't take that image. Now you could take two images or more and radically change the image, but I mean that's graphic arts. We're still talking about photographic image manipulation of what the raw file got dropped onto your SD card from your camera. I see that kind of comment a lot. Who cares about the lens anymore because everybody photoshops their images and it doesn't matter. Well, that's absolute bullcrap. In the extreme, might I add. I don't know why so many people believe that. It's the same sort of pernicious BS that I keep hearing about. Larger sensors gather more light. Sensor size has no connection to exposure. Exposure is per unit area, not per total area. There's all these crazy things that people believe in that don't actually exist. I think that like crop sensor, if you put, here's another one that really pisses me off. And there's one YouTuber that keeps promulgating this nonsense. One YouTuber. And he's got a lot of subscribers. Which goes to my premise that I've been saying for decades, is that nothing popular is true and nothing true is popular. The belief that when you slap the same lens on a crop sensor camera instead of a full frame camera, the depth of field changes. No, it does not. What changes is if you try to get the same field of view, you zoom in with your feet, zoom in or out with your feet, then of course the depth of field changes. But if your feet are glued to the ground, okay, and you take the exact same lens and go from a full frame camera to a crop sensor camera, nothing changes on depth of field. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Period. Hardcore, undeniable. Every lens craps out the same light with no respect, complete irrespective of the sensor size underneath, because a crop is a crop is a crop and only a crop. And a crop has nothing to do with changing depth of field. Nor do larger sensors gather more light. They doubt, sure it is, bigger sensor gathers more light. Exposure doesn't work that way. It has no connection to exposure. None. That's only important when it comes to picture windows and solar cells, but digital camera sensors gather millions of points of multicolor light. They don't gather one thing like a solar cell, which is voltage. Because, you know, the bigger the solar cell you stick on the top of your roof, the more charge you get. But solar cells, whether they be large or small, only do one thing. Charge. Anyway, this notion of it doesn't matter anymore because everybody photoshops their image. That's not true at all. That is a huge lie. Why do so many people believe that nonsense? Oh, God. Oh, this is something funny. I'm going to leave this video with something really funny. I was at Best Buy the other day. And the guy, I saw you on YouTube. I was like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah. I'm shopping for a new camera. And he says, I got so depressed not too long ago. He said, I lost all respect for all this YouTube garbage. I said, what did you do? He says, I went looking for a camera, and I saw this horrible dude, and it was just like a total joke. I said, oh yeah, who was it? And he says, I don't remember his name, but he had a big head of hair. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. That was funny. That really did happen, by the way. I started to laugh. I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was funny. I remember falling asleep that night, and I thought about it again, and I chuckled to myself. Oh, man, that's funny. At least I thought it was funny. I'm sure you're going to disagree with me. I hope you like these videos. Contact me if you have any questions. I got lots of links below. You can contact me. And since I don't sell anything, any help from you, you want to drop me a buck or two, or maybe you could like send me a pile of poo, whatever makes you happy. Tell me to jump off a cliff. You know, something that's going to make you happy. You know, one of those is going to make you happy. I had a crazy person today, a female that says that she's going to try to show up at my door because I don't know who she is. I have no idea who this person is. So, yeah, and she put her phone number in the comment. She said, what are you going to answer me? So I'm going to show up at your door. It's like, geez. Please seek mental help. Man, I had no idea who this person is. That is really weird. It's creepy. Also, check out my Instagram. I put a lot of funny stuff on my Instagram. And, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much. I digress. Right now I'm just flapping my lips needlessly. Have a nice week. Okay?